Hi everyone, this week we start off with the book of Vayikra, the third of the 5 books of Moses. And there's an age-old custom that when exposing children for the very first time to learning Torah, we start with the parsha of Vayikra, Torah Kohanim. Now, I could think of some better choices. How about creation? How about the story of Avram and Sarah? How about the story of Exodus? How about the story of giving of the Torah? And yet, for these little children of 6, 7 years old, we're exposing them to these very abstract and difficult concepts called korbanot and a Beit HaMikdash. So I wanted to understand deeper, and I came up with 3 ideas. Number 1, this custom seems to have originated at the end of the Second Temple. And therefore, what we were trying to convey to the children at a very young age, there's a concept of Kedusha, of holiness, of sanctity. And therefore, even though we don't have a Mikdash, the life of a Jew should be filled with holiness and sanctity. Number 2, since this is the beginning of an exile, we want to teach the children that it's not going to be forever. We want to instill hope and optimism into our children at a very young age, that no matter what we're going to go through, there's going to be a geula. And it's important that we know the laws of the korbanot, even though today it's not really applicable, but soon they will be. So that's number 2, hope and optimism. And finally, number 3, studying Vayikra is really hard and requires a certain amount of fortitude and effort and resilience. And perhaps the rabbis were trying to instill that into the children at a very young age. The Torah study is not about your intelligence, but about your commitment, your curiosity, your effort, your investment in learning. And that's how one truly acquires Torah study. There's a story of a famous rabbi who had a daughter of marriageable age. And the rabbi went to a yeshiva and he gave a shiur to all these eligible students. And he told the students, if anybody can answer the dilemma that I'm going to create, you'll probably be the one who's worthy to marry my daughter. The rabbi gives the shiur, gives the lesson, and none of the students can answer the dilemma. The rabbi leaves without a husband for his wife, for his daughter. And as he's leaving, he hears someone screaming, "Stop!" It's one of the scholars, one of the students. And the rabbi said, "Oh, you have an answer?" And the rabbi says, "I don't, but I really want to know, what is that answer?" And the rabbi says to the student, "You know what? You're the one who's worthy to marry my daughter, because it's about the desire to learn and that commitment to learning." So that's the 3rd lesson. So let's review. 1, we want to teach the children about a Jew's life should be filled with holiness and sanctity. Number 2, that we should always be thinking about the geula, and studying Vayikra is our preparation for getting ready for the redemption. And finally, 3, that studying Torah requires a sense of commitment to truly acquire it. And from little children, we can learn, and there's a beautiful quote by Rabbi Sachs, and he says, "We achieve greatness by handing our values onto the next generation and empowering them to go and build the future." If you like what you hear, please pass it on. Shabbat Shalom.